Hi guys, it's Hani here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's time for another edition of Hani and Gretchen Bakes. This month we decided on a blueberry theme. Gretchen made these homemade blueberry Pop-Tarts. They are totally delicious, and wait till you see what they look like inside with the blueberry filling. So yummy. Be sure to check out her recipe. I'm going to include the link down below, or you can click on an image and it will take you to the tutorial. And I'm gonna show you how to make Seashell Cream Puffs filled with delicious blueberry mousse. You can learn how to make pâte choux in my previous video that I have posted a while ago. And now back to the seashells. First, I'm going to prepare a template. So to bake these, I'm using parchment paper, and to make the template, I'm using a round cookie cutter and a pencil. Once you're done making the template, flip the parchment paper over. Here is my pâte choux that I made, and you can find a recipe how to make it in my previous video. I'm going to include a link to this recipe down below in the description box. To pipe, I'm using Wilton Piping Tip number 12. Here is another take, and here you can see how I'm holding the piping bag. Use a little bit of water to smooth out the points. And now we're ready to bake these. Here I'm using a large metal skewer to make the holes to release the steam. You can also use a knife, tip of the knife. I'm going to return this into the oven, just like stated in the recipe. And once baked, we have to let these cool, and then we can cut them in half, or you can also store this for later use uncut. To cut these in half, I'm using cheese knife. I like it because it has really tiny teeth and it works well for cutting these in half. Make sure that you don't wiggle the knife too much, just go in one straight line until you cut through. To make blueberry mousse, I'm using blueberries, fresh blueberries. I assume you could also use frozen blueberries, lemon juice, and some granulated sugar. First, I'm going to cook the blueberries with lemon juice and sugar on medium-high heat until they are very soft. Once they are soft, we're going to process these in a food processor or a chopper. And then we're gonna strain it for a fine mesh sieve to remove the seeds. Now, I could actually live on this stuff. This stuff is so good. At first, I like to go back and forth, and then as I have more room to move, I stir. you can dump the seeds, rinse your spatula, and scrape the bottom of the sieve. Now your blueberry puree is ready. You have to let it cool. And once it's cooled, we are ready to make the mousse. To make the mousse, you're gonna need fruit puree, egg whites, heavy cream, and gelatin. First, I'm going to heat the egg whites with a little bit of salt and granulated sugar over the pot with simmering water. I'm just gonna whisk it until all of the sugar is dissolved, and then I'm gonna whisk it for about 2-3 minutes. Once you rub the mixture between your fingers, there should be no granules from the sugar, and it will be really hot. Then we're gonna beat it on high until we have stiff peaks formed. I'm going to beat the heavy cream now until stiff peaks are formed. Then we're going to fold the meringue into the whipped heavy cream, and then you can set this aside for a little bit. Now it's time to prepare gelatin. Stir gelatin into cold water and let it sit for about 5 minutes. Now I'm going to microwave the gelatin for about 5 to 8 seconds until it's completely dissolved. Let the gelatin cool to room temperature before adding it to the fruit puree. So I'm going to pour a little bit of room temperature fruit puree in a bowl and then add the gelatin. Stir well and then add remaining puree. And now it's time to put this mousse together. So I'm going to use that whipped goodness we made with whipped heavy cream and meringue, and we're gonna add that to the fruit puree. Once it's all combined, I'm going to let the mousse sit in the fridge for about 30 minutes or so, checking on it frequently if the gelatin is starting to set up, because right now I can't really pipe the amounts of mousse onto the shells. It will spread too much, so you need to have a slightly thicker mousse to be able to pipe, and once the gelatin is setting up or starting to set up, it will be a lot easier to pipe. So I filled my piping bag with the mousse, I fitted the piping bag with a large round tip, and now we're ready to pipe the mousse onto the shells. Now take the top and press it slightly in the bag so there is an opening in the front so we can put a nice pearl there. I'm also going to add a pearl, and initially I wanted to use a blueberry, but I ended up swapping the blueberry out for a candy pearl because blueberry was too dark and there was no contrast between the mousse and the blueberry, so I ended up using SIXLETS actually. I got some nice pink ones and white ones that worked out really well. You can see the blueberry here. There's no contrast. You can barely see the blueberry there. So I swapped them out after the mousse was already set. Setting time, it could take anywhere from 4 hours to overnight. And here is another option. If you don't want to make blueberry mousse, you can also use my vanilla German buttercream. Recipe link is going to be posted down below in the description box. I really like this filling. I use it a lot in combination with my flour buttercream. That one I also like and I use it quite a bit. And since this filling is a lot lighter than the blueberry mousse, and so we can add the blueberry for the pearl. I think using two different fillings gives it a nice look, and it also gives you a variety for your guests to enjoy, because not everybody might like fruit or fruit mousse, and that's how these are made. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what you think. And also don't forget to hop over to Gretchen's Bakery and learn how to make these homemade blueberry Pop-Tarts. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.